We have different kinds of hydrangeas in our garden, and we're gonna do some pruning this fall, but we can't prune all of them. So we wanna show you which ones you can prune and how to get it done.
Hey everybody,
hey guys.
Thank you for joining us today. We're so happy to be here with you, and we're out in our garden. Fall.
Oh, there's a lot going on, just like in your gardens out there, no matter where you're at. We're in zone 8B, if you didn't know that. We're in the Pacific Northwest. We're doing a lot of different things out here. One of the things we're going to be doing today is pruning our hydrangeas. So we have a couple different hydrangeas in our gardens. If you checked out that spring pruning video on hydrangeas, you'll find out exactly which ones we have. Right over here, we've got our Bigleaf hydrangeas. These two are the Mopheads. These are Summer Crush from Endless Summer. And then we've got a Pop Star over here.
Yeah,
now, it's not a Mophead, it's a Lacecap type of flower, type of Bigleaf hydrangea. So it's got a little bit different kind of flower.
It's so pretty, the foliage is just gorgeous.
Yeah, and you can see these hydrangeas, their leaves are changing color because of the fall. They're starting to go dormant. You know, between summer and before winter, this is a great time to prune them. The reason we want to prune the macrophylla this time of year is because they flower mostly on older wood, on last year's growth. If we cut these off here, you can see down below, we've already got the buds developing for next year, and this is where our flowers are going to come from next year, and it goes all the way down these stems. So like this hydrangea over here, this is a Macrophylla X serrata. This hydrangea is a little bit different. You can prune this one this time of year because it's got that Macrophylla species in it, in the hybrid, but you can prune this pretty much any time of year, either spring or fall, because it flowers on both old and new wood. So it'll flower on the new growth in the spring, and it'll flower on the older growth of the stems and buds further down.
So moving this way really quick, you guys, because this is important to point out. This is kind of our panicle hydrangea area. We have 3 of them right here. There's actually one new one back there as well. They're so beautiful right now. Look at all of the colors.
Gorgeous.
Just gorgeous. This is Quick Fire Fab from Proven Winners. This is Firelight Tidbit, also from Proven Winners. Down here, we have a little berry white panicle hydrangea. We desperately need to repot. That's coming soon. The reason we're showing you these right now, not only are they beautiful, but you don't want to prune panicles in the fall.
Yep, and the reason you don't prune panicle hydrangeas in the fall is because they all flower from new wood from that year's growth, not from last year's growth. We've got our macrophyllas out here, our bigleaf hydrangeas. I brought the hybrid out here because really we don't need to do too much with it, but we've got a couple outliers. They're kind of just poking up out of nowhere, and it makes the whole flow of the shape of the plant look goofy. So I am going to prune those out. Let's get these outliers out of here. I'm going to turn this around so you'll be able to see it better when I'm making my cuts. And so I'm going to use my Corona Classic hand pruners here, Classic Cuts. This is so dense in here, you can see we don't really need to keep all of this growth. So I'm going to literally come down here and I'm going to prune on this maybe right about here. If you can see, there's some buds right there. I'm going to prune this whole thing out because I'm going to create some more space for the rest of these stems to grow into. So here, so just right above those buds, can you see in there? If you see, I'll bend this down a little bit. See the buds? Maybe about just above them. That's okay. I don't want to disturb these buds, so always prune on hydrangeas above the buds. Don't try and prune down here, because if you do and you try to finagle your pruners down in there, you can pop these off, you can damage them, you can cut them too. So just always prune above those buds on the stems. So that's that one right there. So we got one more. Now this one, so see how this just filled right in when I took that one stem out? So that's what we wanted. That's what we wanted to do. So I'm going to do the same thing with this one. And they're coming down from all the way down here. I'm going to actually prune this almost all the way down. Hope you can see this down here. I'm going to prune this all the way down here, just as close to that crown as I can. Because again, we don't need that. Look how dense all this is. And this is all going to fill in next year. Next spring, this is just going to explode with new growth off these side buds on all these stems. So I'm not worried about that. So how does that look, honey? Does that look
cute.
okay? You want me to kind of get that?
Yeah, I kind of want that tall one. I love the way it looks right now. It's beautiful, but if we're really doing this right.
So I want to show you again here real quick. Maybe I'll do it this way. Here you go. So see those buds? If I try to go in and on this stem any lower than right above here, above those buds, these get a little brittle this time of year. If I try to get in there, these will literally pop off, and I don't want to damage these buds for next year. So I'm gonna cut just above, there it is, right there. I cut just above those, and there you go. All right, so moving on from the hybrid, let's go right here. So this is our Summer Crush, Endless Summer, beautiful hydrangea. Something to think about is, you know, there's all of these blooms on here, and you can go through if you want, and you can cut these off and just deadhead it. And in fact, maybe that's a good idea to go through and just deadhead, just take off the old blooms down to the next set of buds. So you can see there's buds there, there's buds there. So I'm just going to go through and come down to these next set of buds. And then we're going to get a good idea of what this plant looks like without all the old flowers, and then we can shape it a little bit more. This is especially good if you're new to this type of pruning or your hydrangeas and you don't want to cut off too much all at once. Go through, deadhead them first, then come back and look at it and shape them and I'm going to cut that off so that's not confusing here for this. Yeah, get all these off, and then you can get a really good idea of how you want to shape it for next year. And who knows, if you just deadhead it, maybe it'll be shaped just right for you and you don't have to prune any more off. Now you guys, you can see all the old flowers are down here from this year. Beautiful. We really enjoyed those. Now you can see after I've taken all those off, this still has kind of a little bit of a, you know, round shape to it. If you look at all the stems and spatially see them, I'm not seeing a lot or really any dead tissue on these. I kind of like how this looks right now. Let's get into our next hydrangea here. Again, I'm going to go through as fast as I can, and I'm going to just deadhead this to clear away all these old flowers and then get a good sense of where we're at for the shape of this plant. All right, so here we go, overall shape. There's a couple of outliers going on out here, kind of up top, a little bit on the back side. This hydrangea hasn't shut down into dormancy as much as this one has yet. They're not in full dormancy yet because they both have the green leaves. They're starting to shut down because of the cooler nights. So I just wanted to point that out. So, okay, so we've got this guy, let's go maybe about, well, yeah, use your best judgment. What we're trying to go for here, if you haven't figured out, is a nice round ball, kind of a ball shape. So we get all those blooms that just kind of form like this, that'll form next summer. I'm liking how this is looking. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we're good. What do you guys think?
Yeah, let us know down in the comments if you like, you know, more of a ball shaped, kind of a formal look on your hydrangeas, or if you like more of a informal, kind of more natural look to them. I think next year we'll make sure these are in a little bit more sunny areas, because right now where they're at, they're in a lot more shade.
A big tree right here. And again, we didn't really plan on having our plants here this long, but we're still looking for property. So, and they're doing really well in containers otherwise.
Yeah, they're still, I mean, yeah, they're growing. They're healthy. So our last big leaf hydrangea that we're going to cut and show you guys how to cut today is our Pop Star hydrangea. This is a beautiful hydrangea. It looks like it kind of just spread out, like we were just saying. It looks like it's stretched a little bit this year, so we're going to prune it back. But first, like the other ones, we're going to deadhead it. If you see here, there's buds right there, but they're super tiny. They're super tiny right there on the other, you know, on either side of this stem. If you go down, here's some really big buds. And this is where next year, because these are macrophyllus, this will be last year's growth, where the new flowers will be this coming spring. We can prune all the way down to there, just above those. And then we're directing the growth of this plant, of this hydrangea, in that direction. Now this is interesting. So everything I cut off all the old blooms from this year. Now there were certain stems on here that they didn't have flowers on, and that's these two guys here. There's a couple here. You know what? Let me turn it around here. These two stems and this guy right here didn't have any flowers on them. So these were new shoots that came up this year from these points. This is all new growth. And it started down here and it just came all the way up to here. And this is what happens on macrophyllus. They will not flower on new growth the same year's growth. They flower on other year's growth, previous year's growth. So this makes sense why this didn't have a flower on it. So now this next year, so if I prune right here, the buds here, here, and then further down, they will develop into flower buds for next year. They'll start to program themselves over this winter, and we'll have flowers from those buds because it'll be from previous year's growth. Plus it's a little taller. We want to get it back in the shape of this one, of the rest of them here. So let's do that. Same thing for this guy. I'm gonna go right about here. Kind of liking how this is going here. This is not too bad. Yeah, this side, yeah, okay.
Okay, you guys, so that's a wrap for pruning big leaf hydrangeas in fall, and we hope that was really helpful for you.
Yep. So if you're looking for other pruning videos, we have a whole bunch of pruning videos on a lot of different kinds of plants in our garden, in our video library. So go ahead and check those out in the playlist for pruning. Thank you for being here. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to leave a comment down below for us. We love hearing from you. And we'll definitely see you guys later.
See you in the next video. See you guys.
Bye.